called the
Transcendentalism, everybody knows, was an American philosophical movement in the mid-19th century. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, and it looks at art, nature, and the world as all being intertwined. A very famous dancer was giving a program. This is the story that's told that Emerson was there along with Margaret Fuller, another of the Transcendentalists. She said, "No, this is really art." And he said, "No, Margaret, it's really religion." This notion of expression of the human spirit, I guess you could say, or of the soul, and then connecting with the oversoul. In other words, it's almost a Brahma Atman Hindu concept, which is where a lot of the rootage came from. Is very important, and it's very important in the American psyche, I think. It's not just connecting, but then when you look at divisions, things that separate us, how can you get beyond that? Well, one of the ways is to have a more expansive philosophy. The notion of always looking for more rather than trying to make it exclusive and limiting things. Just, to me, that makes sense to work in the expansive zone. But there are many people, clearly, who don't share that point of view. So.
And it's fascinating, too, how that, again, connects to jazz and the improvisational tradition. Because that's what that's all about, too.
You know, getting back to Aardvark just a little bit, I talked about how we will do things that are highly, quote unquote, free improvisation, collectively improvised stuff, and then we'll do, you know, a tune by Ellington, let's say. Well, Sun Ra did the same stuff, and the band that continues in his name does the same thing. You know, they'll play a Fletcher Henderson tune, they'll play an Ellington tune, and then they'll go off in some flight of fancy. And why not? I mean, why is that odd? Why should you be typecast as either, oh, he's a free guy, or he's a swing guy, or he plays New Orleans music, or whatever it is? You know, it's like it's all music.
One of the things that I really admire about you is how you have connected all this to your actual life. You spent like an incredible amount of time and energy doing things that just enabled other people to have opportunities.
I guess I've never thought about it because that's just the tradition I've grown up in. I grew up in tradition of, again, Methodism, but then larger, the Protestant tradition, which is, has usually seen a way to make a connection with the world, make a connection between the spiritual and, quote unquote, the secular. Jesus walked around everywhere. He didn't stay in the synagogue, he didn't stay in the temple. He walked around, he met people, he did things on the road, he did things at the lakeside. He was out with people. All of the major parables, the stories, have to do with interactions with people in their situations where they live. So what does the church do? The church gets established, and after a little bit says, no, you have to come to us. We're going to be in a particular building. Everything else is considered ungodly, it's considered secular. Now you have to come to us. That doesn't make any sense. To me, again, partly coming out of the tradition I come out of, meaning having studied social ethics, having been at Boston University, which was a major center for this, teaching people like King and other people this tradition, and then being part of the activist scene of the 60s and 70s. It's like, how can you not, to me, how can you not see this as an expansive way to do things? How can you not reach out, make an offering here, make an opportunity here, help somebody over here a little bit, make the way straighter and easier to go down for somebody over here? Anything else just doesn't make sense to me.